As a kid, I was always insecure and didn't have a lot of confidence with school. I always had my sports to look forward to, but that was about it. AVID was originally presented to me in the 7th grade, and I wanted to play college basketball, so I took the class to try to prepare for college. My mom, dad, and brother had all graduated college, which made me realize I had some big shoes to fill. Realizing this, I joined the middle school AVID program to see if it could help me out with finding out how and where I could get to college. Middle school AVID started to become more interesting to me because there was a lot more to college than just taking classes, just like high school. It's deciding what you want to do for the rest of your life beyond high school. The last year of middle school, I realized I needed to focus more in order to get to college. Middle school AVID opened my realization for college, and high school had continued to help my understanding. When I originally started high school, I started with easy classes and I maintained a 4.0 GPA. In order to go to college, I would need to change my work ethic and challenge myself a lot more. AVID helped me step up sophomore year through COVID and even after when we came back to school after quarantine with all of our masks on. As we continued through the year, AVID would help our classes get together and study as one. We would help each other with homework, personal problems, and even doing Cornell notes last second before turning them in, which I know everyone here could probably relate to. Even though this step was difficult, with the help of my class, I was able to keep striving and challenging myself with harder classes for the rest of my high school career. I've ended up finishing my freshman through junior year with a 3.6 GPA, which is something I never really thought would be possible for me. With AVID, I was able to maintain a greater understanding of how to work hard, as well as how to get into a 4-year. During this last year of my high school career, my purpose in AVID was clear. When forced with struggles before test days or even struggling on homework we didn't understand, through AVID we were able to perform tutoring within each other, take notes, and even learning how to expand our work ethic to the college level. Mentally, I have a problem with being in a good mood every day at school. Miss B, who is our AVID teacher and mentor, and each of our classmates would continue to lift each other up and keep our spirits high. My AVID classmates had always helped me put a smile on my face, even if it didn't always show on the outside. I regret not opening up to my AVID class as much as I did because little did I know, we were going through the same things just with different backgrounds. I realized then how much they all had meant to me. They were the family I had right under my nose all 4 years, and it took me until this year to realize this. This is the kind of family and bond I was able to create by being in my AVID class. It's a class of joy getting to understand life and how to be prepared for college. A memory I think that I will always remember in the future is when I realized that I'd be pursuing my goal of basketball and playing at the junior level college instead of the 4-year level. I thought I didn't need AVID, that I could just use it as like a free period. I wouldn't be going on the same path as my other classmates who were going to pursue the 4 years straight out of high school. When I had this conversation with Miss B about dropping the class, I just really couldn't go through with it. It seemed silly to me, and it's hard to admit that I was going to try to leave right before our graduation. Miss B had always been a second mother to me, and it did not feel right leaving class without her and my classmates. That is the bond AVID provides. It helps you reach your goals, all while gaining a family. It's a rare thing to have a teacher to help you with homework, but it's a blessing to find a teacher who you can talk to with your problems and someone you picture yourself asking for help in your 3rd year of college. Even though my path is different, Ms. B supported me through it and continues to support me through this day. To all my AVID family that I made in high school, thank you for everything. As students, we all got stronger and more confident with our future because of each other. It's time to keep our heads held high and focus on our next chapter. We all have different chapters that are waiting to open, and I know we are all ready for it. I will never forget any of you, and I hope down the line in life we can keep in touch. My AVID family is the reason why I was able to get this far with my high school journey, and I know I have big things to do, and I will try my hardest not to let you guys down. AVID was a dream come true for me, not just for the academics it helps with, the knowledge we gain, or the fun Fridays we all had together. It's because of the time we had and shared together. With the help of my AVID class, I was accepted to St. Mary's, Creighton, Dominican University, all with $100,000 of scholarship money. But I have decided to pursue my dream of basketball, and I'll be attending Yuba Community College next year to pursue my dreams. Thank you.
Hello everyone, and welcome to the 2023 AVID Senior Celebration. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Sarah Hart, and I'm here today to share with you Casa Roble's AVID experience. As we all grow older and move into this new chapter in our lives, I wish the best, happiest, and most abundant lives ahead for all of us. AVID has always been something more than just a class. AVID is a community, a family. We only begin to see this now as we close these doors and look back onto all the memories we've created together. AVID, which stands for Advancement via Individual Determination, truly has lived up to its name and standards. The confidence this community has within each one of our fellow students is unmatched. AVID motivates, encourages, and believes in the excellence for each and every student. This curriculum has taught me the importance of time management and being confident within myself. I have learned how to organize my work with my classes and my life as well. AVID has taught us to be brave and go for the things we desire. We all know now we can achieve anything we set our minds to. One of my favorite sayings is, learn to love the things you hate. And while I'm all sure we dreaded having to write our Cornell notes and fill out our TRF papers, when life comes full circle again in a moment like now, we can see the lessons and traits you can attain from things that don't seem bright in the moment. I also know now that it's wiser to speak up and ask for help where you need it, and sometimes others have the same question too. This is one of the many things AVID has taught me. This family has created a support system I can fall back on whenever. Our class was always a place where you could reach out and ask everyone questions. I would even have group chats with some of the classmates I shared classes with so we could help each other out on our work and assignments we had assigned. As the time passed by, we all became even closer with one another and found fun within our outside classes and life as well. I will always look back and thank myself for choosing to be in this class, and for CASA choosing to have AVID as an elective for students. I know as if a simple decision, as deciding not to select this as our elective, would have altered our high school experience drastically. I'm so grateful to attend a school that offers this program and to be a part of a family with some of the funniest, honest, and most hardworking people I know. And I'm even more appreciative of Mr. Stair, Mr. Horner himself, and the entire Horner family for constantly being positive advocates and friends to all. With you by our sides, we push ourselves more than ever before. You have shown students their true potential for what they can achieve in life. And because of this, one of my favorite memories will forever lie in the laughter that was created on the college field trips. I feel like our true connection started there. We were able to see each other for who we truly were and get to know everyone personally. I gained such a greater understanding of what college life would look like and feel like while on these field trips. It offered us the opportunity to see the campus in full extent for what it had to offer. I now feel confident that these next following years will be what we need to accomplish our goals in life. Through all the laughter and tears and hard work we put in, I'm sure we can all say this class was definitely one for the books. AVID has brought countless memories and lessons to us all, but most importantly, it has brought each student the confidence and courage to do the things they aspire to do. Thanks to the support from this curriculum, I will be majoring in biology at the University of Nevada, Reno. So let's take this opportunity AVID provided for us to push ourselves ahead, to do what we came here to do. Let's go into these next years of our lives with the most upbeat, positive mindset, knowing we can accomplish anything because we are Casa Roble AVID. We are Seahawks!
Good evening, everyone. My name is Omar, and I am AVID's Senior Vice President from Del Campo High School. As some of you may know, at AVID Night Out, I did give a speech about my AVID journey. However, tonight I won't be boring all of you with my AVID journey, and instead I'll be sharing the 3 things I have learned throughout my entire time in this family. Now, during AVID, I have learned sorry, give me a moment, I apologize. In AVID, my AVID family has always been there for me. You know, I noticed they always cared for me. Ever since going back till the beginning of this year, where my AVID family cared for me. They in the beginning of this year, I missed the AVID senior trip. And because of that, Because of the AVID senior trip, I was very devastated since the fact that I looked forward to this trip all year long. However, what I didn't realize was that my AVID family was going to send me messages, FaceTime me, call me, and even send me band pictures just of the amount of fun they were having just to share it with me. Now, at this moment, I realized that in AVID, you will always have a friend. And in AVID, you always feel valued. Whether in AVID, moments in which Mrs. Gavant and Mrs. Bader would share AVID changes to the entire student section, whether it was even to myself or not, and to go ahead and ensure everyone had a voice. This is an AVID family in which everyone encourages each other, thanks each other, and checks up on each other. A family in which is built with friends and a community, and a family in which I belong in, and I also was shaped to be here at this very moment in front of you this evening. Now, throughout AVID, I've learned many different things, whether that was learning how to make educated decisions, as well as taking responsibility of all your actions. Now, after we leave this moment together for our final moments as AVID seniors, I wish us all to remember that AVID will always be there every step of the way throughout your journey. Whether you completed excessive Cornell notes or excellent tutorials, we made it. We have achieved the best version of ourselves. And I believe in each and every one of you, and I'm pretty sure AVID does too. Now, lastly, I'd like to thank my mother for motivating me to achieve my challenges, my sister, Jasmine, who encouraged me to follow my dreams and pursue AVID, and even left a legacy for me to walk on, as well as my AVID friends, who I'm glad to call my family. And I'm proud to say that due to AVID, I will be pursuing UC Davis as a pre-med opportunity. Thank you.
My name is Jamie Savino, and I've been in AVID for 4 years.
Hello, my name is Chase Shoemaker, and I've been in AVID for 6 years.
Some of us began our AVID journey in middle school, and some have joined throughout our various years in high school. Regardless of when we started our journey, we have all arrived at this destination, our AVID graduation.
Throughout my entire life, my family and I have dealt with financial insecurities. My mother was rarely in my life, and my father was the only one working. Before AVID, college was a place I thought I could never achieve. And I made myself believe that. I had told my friend that I wasn't interested in college, when really, I believed I could never go. That's when he recommended me to my middle school AVID teacher. She hunted me down during 7th grade registration, and she set up an interview right then and there. When I heard that I got accepted into AVID, I was confused as to why. I didn't believe I was going to fit in. On the first day of being there, the program was more than welcoming. I was talked to like they've all known me for years. Come freshman year, now with a new AVID class, I was worried again, not only about going to college, but fitting in with everybody else. However, those fears were quickly shot down. Thanks to Miss Hino and my class, everyone connected so easily. As I've grown with my class, I've realized that we might all be different puzzle pieces connecting to our own boards, but we still come together to create a perfect picture. To me, AVID is more than a college readiness program. It is a community. It is a home away from home, where my second family is. During my sophomore year, my stepmother unfortunately passed away. It became hard to focus on school. Especially because of COVID, it was harder for me to reach out. At this time in my life, without even knowing, AVID was there. It wasn't through supportive messages or kindness. It was simple things, like my teacher singing us happy birthday. During my senior year, my father needed to go through an emergency heart transplant. Truthfully, I was scared for his life. During this time, I had to be a lot more independent. It wasn't a choice. I had to grow up. I didn't want to give up now, after all the hard work that I put in. Spider-Man taught me that. Showing up to AVID every day not only reminded me of my own goals, but as well as my accomplishments. It even helped me become El Camino's first Dell Scholar. AVID has taught me so much more than what it means to become college-bound. It reinforced my determination to become successful, not only for myself, but to support the ones around me who have helped me to get where I am now. It is my second family, and I'll always have them to have my back. Thank you.
Within the first few months of my life, I was removed from my birth parents and spent months in foster care, or in homes I would literally be removed from. This went on until I found my forever home, and my forever family was given to me a day before my first birthday. Best birthday present ever, if you ask me. Throughout my life, I had struggled to find a place that I felt I'd fit in. It's no secret that there is a slight color difference between my parents and me and my siblings. However, my parents made sure I always embraced my differences, even when the communities I grew up in didn't. Up until my freshman year of high school, I was the only Black person in all of my classes. Unfortunately, this was a common occurrence since I attended predominantly white schools to be in rapid learner classes in elementary school and honors classes in middle school. I never had a community that looked like me and embraced me by accepting my differences. I found that in order to fit in, I had to change myself and contort myself into a person that was tolerable for my peers. I wasn't told that my Black skin was beautiful. I was told that my thick, kinky hair was ghetto and unattractive. I had such a huge identity crisis that I would panic at the sentence, "Tell me about yourself." I couldn't wait for high school so I could have a clean slate. I joined AVID my freshman year of high school. Like me, I bet that some of your parents made you join AVID against your will, probably because you had a family friend or sibling in AVID. And just like me, you were probably sulking all the way down to the AVID classroom when it was time to start your first AVID class of the year. However, no amount of sulking and brooding could have prepared me for the amount of unconditional love and support my AVID fam would bring within our next 4 years together. We were immediately greeted by a super energetic woman welcoming us into freshman AVID with open arms. The same woman who had changed the trajectories of our lives for the better. I remember Mrs. Hino bombarding us with her positive energy, with her upbeat, "Good morning, class! Welcome to freshman AVID!" When half of us were thinking, ain't nobody got that much energy at 8 in the morning. Well, maybe Jaden, but we all just kind of learned to deal with him. But after 4 years with her, the energy became contagious. In the first period of my first high school class ever, I was in a classroom full of people who looked like me. There were people who had similar experiences as I did. AVID was a class full of beautiful, incredible, genuine people. Never once in that class did I feel I had to change myself or my story. Our differences were embraced in Mrs. Tino's classroom. Some people went from complete strangers to the best friends that I could have ever had. I'm looking at you, Sid. AVID has brought me closer to people I could not have guessed I would have been friends with. My teacher and my classmates have opened my eyes to opportunities that I would never have gone for or had known existed if I hadn't been in this class. If I'm being completely honest right now, it feels so unreal being up here on the stage in front of all of you right now in this very moment. If you allow me to get personal with you all, even though you may have never met me before and I may have never met you before. And if you have met me before, then you know how awesome I am, so you're welcome. After 4 years, we're finally here. After we had to adapt our ways of learning to survive a global pandemic for almost half of our high school experience. I'm sure I'm not the only one here who has felt hopeless and scared during those depressing times, not knowing how much longer we would have to go without seeing our friends face to face. Those times were the hardest times we as AVID students had to face within our AVID journey. Without my AVID family, my AVID teacher, Mrs. Hino, I would not be here today to tell you all how proud I am and how proud you all should be of yourselves for making it here and being here today with your AVID family. AVID quite literally saved my life. And now I will be continuing my life. I will be continuing my life as a proud AVID graduate, attending the University of San Francisco to pursue my dream of becoming a teacher. I'm not only I'm going to become a mentor. I'm going to become a positive role model, a support system. I'm going to become a Mrs. Hino. Because the world needs more Mrs. Hinos, and the world needs more AVID. Well, I've probably made y'all cry already, I'm sorry. But if you took anything away from these speeches today, just let it be the fact that you have impacted the lives of so many, and your impact here is so, so important, because you are important. And thank you for making me realize that I am, and we are important. I love you, AVID family.
Hi. This is my story. Since before I could remember, my parents told me that a college education was the only path I could take if I wanted to succeed. They expected me to obtain good grades, go to college, and acquire a high-paying job. My parents tried to imprint this idea of success into my mind, but my younger self did not think much of it. In 8th grade, however, I decided to finally listen to my parents for once and enrolled in AVID. Admittedly, I only joined AVID because my friends said it was a fun class and it would be another class for us to goof off in. So while my friends and I sang Frank Sinatra and played Mario Kart in the back of class, my desire to have fun outweighed any thoughts of college. My sister graduated high school the same year I entered. My parents had the same expectations of her, but she did not see eye to eye with them. They had many disputes regarding the topic, but the main image I could recall was of my parents scolding her for not finishing her application to American River College. On the surface, I understood why they were upset. They wanted her to succeed and believed college was the only path towards success. What I did not yet comprehend was why their idea of success was so rigid. When I began high school, I resorted back to being sort of a goofball, pushing this memory to the back of my mind. However, my knowledge of singing Frank Sinatra and playing Mario Kart did not help me in Mr. Chimino's biology class. I had to actually start writing notes and paying full attention in class. It was new to me, and I received help from the last place I expected, AVID. What once was a place where I jumped over tables for fun, I learned how to better organize myself and become a more efficient student. AVID was not only helpful academically, but also socially. Many of the fondest relationships and memories I have in school are from AVID. It made classes a lot more bearable because there were familiar faces and I wasn't left out when I began to struggle. I don't travel often, so AVID introduced me to places I thought I'd never have the joy of seeing again, specifically Los Angeles and San Diego, which I haven't been to since I was very young. It brought me so much motivation seeing beautiful campuses and their surroundings because I saw firsthand what it was like to be here. Because I was with friends, it made the journey even more enjoyable. I had never felt closer with them. During this period, I also learned of my mother's backstory. Although she was raised in a rural part of Mexico, she had the opportunity many children did not have, going to school and receiving an education equivalent of high school. Even though she could not receive her diploma because it was too expensive, she went on to obtain a college education in Mexico. But unfortunately, my father left her with my older sister while pregnant with me. So she abandoned her dreams of becoming a biologist in order to secure a better life for my sister and I in America. From that day forward, I decided I would put my all into my future. I will not let my mother's sacrifices be in vain. I will graduate high school, and this fall, I will be attending Sacramento State University, where I've been accepted into their honors program. I will succeed. Thanks, guys. Although it took time, I realized that this journey was not just about going to college, or going to AVID, or even playing Mario Kart. Rather, this was about realizing how lucky I truly am. I was lucky to be in AVID, I was lucky to have my mother support me, and I was lucky to have you all. I was lucky to be selected to give in this speech, and I'm grateful to have been given this opportunity, an opportunity to succeed. Thanks, guys.
right, so, hello everyone. Just to get a little familiar with one another, my name is Zaria Wilkerson, and I'm a 5th year AVID student. Before we start, I'd like to give a special thanks to Rio Americano's AVID teachers, Miss Erica Kelt, Lee Summers, Megan Rich, and last but definitely not least, Miss Jolyn Mason. Without the 4 of these wonderful women, I would not be standing where I am today. Out of all my time spent in public education, I never would have thought that I would be able to experience the type of student-teacher bonds that I've had the honor of having with these women. So again, thank you for that. When I take the time to look back on my first AVID class in 8th grade, it's crazy to see how much I've grown, both as a learner and an individual. The skills this class has given me helped me so much with my personal goals in life. I remember sophomore year, before I had started working at my current job, I had asked Miss Summers, my current AVID teacher at the time, to help me with formulating my resume and even being one of my references. Looking back on that small moment and the fact that I still work for the same company, shout out to Carlton Senior Living, it's just mind-blowing. Since sophomore year, I've had to work on using my free time to my advantage and figuring out how to balance school, work, mental health, and my friendships. Through this class, I've been given so many resources and tips on how to help with my time management and organization. There is no chance that without the presence of this class these past years, I would have the stability in my life that I do now. Initially, I had gone into AVID for the sole purpose of college benefits and insight, but after these 5 years through this course, I can 100% say that this class is so much more than that. Even last week, I remember we were given the task of identifying 10 of our most important values. Initially, I had a hard time trying to think of one, let alone 10, words that describe me as a person. But Miss Mason, my current AVID teacher, is real big on optimism. And let me say, trying to be hopeful in situations where hope isn't guaranteed is not one of my strong suits. But I am working on it. With a lot of reflecting on who I am and my morals, I realize that a lot of them have been acted by the AVID class and the people I've been exposed to. Perseverance, friendship, and honor. The top 3 words that I decided make me, me. Being pushed out of my comfort zone and encouraged to look at the same issues through a different pair of lenses has helped me in so many ways and helped me grow into the person I am today. I've noticed that AVID works to bring out a side of critical thinking that a lot of classes choose to ignore, which I admire a lot. Despite optimism not being one of my strong suits, I'd say I'm a very curious person. I love finding new ways to look at things and learning new ways of handling situations. Along with all of the academic benefits this course brings, I've also been given the opportunity to form some amazing friendships through this class. Ava, Marissa, Ryan, and I guess KJ. I'm looking at you. I look forward to coming in and seeing Miss Mason, our on-campus mom, and all of my good friends who have honestly evolved into a family. A lot of the time, AVID reminds me of the middle child. Although the course may be overlooked, there are so many benefits to this class that aren't acknowledged enough and that nobody really knows about besides the people who take the class. With that being said, I'm beyond grateful to have been a part of this community for as long as I have been, and I'm looking forward to the impact my time spent will play on my academic career moving forward. Ta-da!
Hello everyone, I'm Josiana for those that don't know me, and I just want to take 5 minutes to reflect at our time at San Juan. I'm currently a senior that's been in the AVID program these past 4 years, and from it going to a 4-year college this spring. AVID at San Juan was an adventure. I think a lot of us can agree when I say our freshman AVID went through a lot to be the AVID class we are today. From dreading tutorials to dreading college admissions, I say we definitely improved as a class. I remember learning study skills thinking I was never going to use them, but yet here we are as seniors arguing about which color highlighters we should use. Not to mention how much the study hall came into clutch. I can't remember how many times I've said and heard I'll do it in AVID. For me, study halls allowed me to never really have homework. I can barely recall it now as a senior, but going home with no work was the best feeling ever. When I enrolled into AP classes, everything became so much easier. The class made it so easy to collaborate and provide space to work on the little bane of my existence, DBQ. The extra hour we got to use on work made all the difference to the endless assignments coming from AP classes, not to mention the community we built. The amount of inside jokes we have in our classroom is ridiculous, and if there's anything happening on campus, we're the first to know. Although our community would not have made it without Miss Knight. It was around junior year and people started dropping like flies, and Miss Knight started becoming everyone's sole reason for staying at San Juan. I think for a lot of us, we looked up to Knight for just being Knight. I could always count on her to give me a reality check even when I didn't know I needed one. Knight could probably tell us to jump off a bridge and we will still think she's thinking of our best interests. To be able to expand and give as much value as she has to the word teacher is something we should all applaud. And if it wasn't Knight, it was the counselors. The amount of extra work they had to do when we were filling out our college applications, let's just say I would have hated me. Furthermore, they always stand by students. When people don't know how to act right, trust our way going straight to the counselors. And as we, I mean me and my best friend Ayana, who I also want to give a shout out for always being there to defeat DB Keys with me. Although most of the time she would do the real work and I was just in charge of the art. As COVID-19 started, online learning became more precedent. We had to face an obstacle that was unheard of and detrimental to the school system. Keeping connections and communication for AVID became increasingly difficult. As we went through many trials and errors of collaboration, the struggles we had ironically brought us together. We became more reliant on one another as everyone began facing the aftermath of quarantine. When someone had personal issues, we as a class would try to help, knowing the class would do the same for us. Coming back to school, the class was rowdy as ever. We started having more community activities, keeping in mind COVID precautions, where we even got to establish a party committee. COVID was a difficult challenge, and I hope it never recurs, but I thank you for the rewards we experienced in overcoming it. As seniors, when projects become more rare and we're encouraged to be more independent, the title of mutant class starts to make more sense. To teachers, the mutant class gave them a run for our money. Our personalities were diverse and distinct. The typical instruction could not handle us. Yet in the end, it was the varying differences of the mutant class that brought this community together. I mean, no offense, but our class is weird. When we're together, we're like a huge flock of storks. I mean, one person says something stupid and suddenly we're all squawking. What makes us weird, though, is no matter how slow we can be at times, we are still all able to be successful. For freshmen that earned the title mutant class, I think we turned out pretty good. Not just in areas of academics, but in also personal beliefs. We were not always the first ones to rally when there was something out of line. Going with AVID led us to be more confident with our voices. We were given an environment where our opinions were heard, and in many instances, we got the opportunity to learn how to defend it. We were able to prepare ourselves for college, not only academically, but also mentally. It was during these senior times that I started experiencing the repercussions of my PTSD. Home became unwelcoming, as a safe space I thought I knew only brought on tears and severe anxiety. Coming to school was not much better. As my PTSD increasingly got worse, I became desperate for any form of self-preservation and I began self-isolating. I was caught in a cycle of flight or flight, intrusive thoughts, and an absence in self. From my PTSD told me, I thought I was alone in what seemed like my own deathbed. It was this mutant class that argued back and fought for my survival when I couldn't. It was this mutant class that dragged me out of the couch and made me feel safer than I could ever be at home. And it was this mutant class that showed me no matter where I am or what I go through, there's always going to be someone standing in the doorway waiting to hear my voice again. Even if some of you don't know, our class, you guys, have saved my life more times than y'all could count. At the start of AVID, we only heard self-doubt and an overwhelming agreement that we all had no idea what we were doing. Coming into class now, we laugh about how some of us are most likely going to forget something moving into dorms. We're able to envision a future where we become the change of what previous generations couldn't accomplish. A future where many of us are able to aim for some of the hardest careers, such as one in STEM field. We grew smarter and more mature, growing our distinctive personalities. It was a rough journey succeeding. We had so many things against us, but nonetheless we did. As most of us come from poverty, success was a dream and made unfamiliar by those around us. Thanks to AVID, success became a reality and is now all you can see when you walk into our class. As much torture as school gave us, AVID gave it worth and encouraged us every day to be our best selves. After all, what's an adventure if it doesn't have a happy ending?